previous lecture, we were discussing about the structure of pollen grain, the wall of the pollen grain, and then the germ pore, what is its function, all that. In this lecture also, we will continue with pollen grain only. You know what is the study of pollen grain called as? The study of pollen grain, the study of pollen characteristics. It's called as palynology. So let us write down first. Study of pollen grains and its characteristics. Study of pollen grain and its characteristics. What is it called? Is called palynology. Okay, it's called palynology. And then we are looking here, this is anther. It has two lobes. These are the two anther lobes. And in this lobe, these are the ones which are coming out with the dehiscence of the anther walls are called pollen grains. Now, pollen grain comes from microspore, right? So, the development of male gametophyte. So, we tell that this is the spore mother cell. It has undergone meiotic division to make, microspore tetrad. This is one, second one, third one and fourth one. This is called microspore tetrad. Now, when this callose layer dissolves, then the microspore comes out. So, each microspore comes out. Now, this microspore is haploid. Spore mother cell is diploid. So, development of male gametophyte is precocious, we tell. What do you mean by precocious? We will see. Let me write down first. Development of male gametophyte. What do you mean by male gametophyte, children? Male gametophyte means it is pollen grain. Development of male gametophyte is precocious. What do you mean by precocious? Means the development of the pollen grain starts within the microsporangium itself. When it is there inside itself, its development starts. So that's why we use a word called precocious. Development of the male gametophyte. Male gametophyte means pollen grain is precocious. Means what do you mean by that? That is the pollen grain development. Male gametophyte means pollen grain. The pollen grain development starts when it is in the microsporangium. When it is in the microsporangium itself, it did not still come out, but then itself if the pollen development starts, then we use a word called it is precocious. Now, just now in the previous board, we have seen that this is the one-celled pollen grain which comes out, and this is a prominent nucleus. What it has abundant food reserves, and of course it has exine and intine, right? So, we will not draw all that. Now, this pollen grain, children, it grows. It increases its size. So, I draw it bigger than that. It increases its size. It even increases the size of the nucleus. It accumulates the food materials. Now, then it matures. After it grows, it matures. First it elongates, then it matures. We will draw the elongation phase. Shall we go this way? When it is elongating, it will grow even bigger. Then, when it is elongating, it will develop vacuoles to store the food materials, and it has its big nucleus. So, it becomes like this. So, this is elongated. Afterwards, it starts mitotic division. Mitotically division. Now, this division is unequal division. It is unequal division. Then, first if it has to divide, first it will make an asymmetric spindle. This is the vacuole, and then it makes asymmetric spindle in this manner. So, this is a asymmetric spindle, this is a vacuole, and here is the cytoplasm, means the nucleus is now dividing. This is called asymmetric spindle, means the nucleus is now dividing. Then it makes a matured pollen grain. So we started with one-celled pollen grain. What is this called? This is called one-celled pollen grain. It is small. It grew and it became big. Then it elongated and developed a vacuole. Then it will show mitotic division, which is an unequal division. It makes an asymmetric spindle. And then finally, it's going to form two cells. It's going to form asymmetric, after asymmetric spindle divides, it's going to form two cells. One cell, the bigger cell, is called as vegetative cell. The vegetative cell nucleus will be irregular. This is the vegetative cell nucleus, which is irregular. It has abundant food reserves. The vegetative cell has abundant food reserves. And since we told the division is unequal, the second cell will be small cell and it will be spindle shaped cell. And here is the cell. This is the second cell. This also has its nucleus. This also has dense cytoplasm. This is the dense cytoplasm. This is called, if that's called vegetative nucleus, this is called generative cell. We'll see, we'll write it down and we'll see the differences. Now try to understand, this is one cell pollen grain. It grew and it became big. After that, during its growth itself, if it has to enlarge, it has to develop vacuole. Here it is developing the vacuoles. Then it starts mitotic division. It is unequal division. And since it's unequal division, it makes two cells. The bigger cell is called vegetative cell. The smaller cell is called generative cell. Take a screenshot, then we will discuss. Right. This is called, one vegetative cell and one generative cell is called two-celled pollen grain. This is called two-celled pollen grain. In majority of the plants, in 60% of the plants, pollen grains are released from the anther in the two-celled stage only. In 60% of the plant species, pollen grains are coming out of the pollen grain in the two-celled stage. One big vegetative cell and one small generative cell. If you see here, I kept two dots inside, right? So can you see here, I kept two dots. Everywhere I am mentioning two dots here. Two dots means the pollen grain is coming out in the two-celled stage. Understood? Yes. Now let us see what is vegetative cell and what is generative cell in bit detailed. Tell me what is study of pollen grains and its characteristics called? It's called palynology, right? Yes. It has two cells. A matured pollen grain has two cells. One cell is called, we just now saw in the board, vegetative cell, and the second cell is called generative cell. One cell is vegetative cell, second cell is generative cell. Vegetative cell is also called tube cell. Vegetative cell is also called tube cell. Generative cell will be spindle shaped. So we can call it as a spindle shaped cell also. We can call it as a spindle shaped cell also. Vegetative cell, we saw it is very big in size. Whereas we saw generative cell is small in size. Right? And generative cell, it is small in size, it is spindle shaped and it floats in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. It is small in size and floats in the cytoplasm of this vegetative cell. Vegetative cell has irregular nucleus. Vegetative cell has irregular nucleus. Whereas generative cell has circular nucleus. Generative cell will have circular nucleus. Now, when we see this is the cell, in that this is the generative cell and here is the irregular nucleus of the vegetative cell and this is the exine, the ornamental design of exine. These are the germ pores. Now, when the pollen tube has to be formed, the intine protrudes and it makes a pollen tube. the intine protrudes and it makes a pollen tube. Then the pollen tube is made by the vegetative cell, not the generative cell. Generative cell is separate. This pollen tube is made by the vegetative cell. So since the tube is made, what is this called? Pollen tube. The pollen tube is made by the vegetative cell. We can also call vegetative cell as tube cell. I wrote here. Vegetative cell is called tube cell. Why it is called tube cell? Because it is making pollen tube. Since it is making pollen tube, it will send its nucleus also inside. This tube nuclei. This is called irregular nuclei, or we can call it as tube nucleus. The tube nucleus is the first nucleus which goes into the pollen tube, right? So we can also call this irregular nucleus as tube nucleus, because the tube nucleus is the first structure which descends down into the pollen tube. Understood? This is about vegetative cell. Generative cell will divide once again. This is generative cell. The generative cell will undergo one more mitotic division. So, generative cell will undergo mitotic division. It will undergo mitotic division. When this undergoes mitotic division, then it is going to make two male gametes. It is going to make two male gametes. So, generative cell undergoes one more mitotic division to make two male gametes. Whereas, vegetative cell will not divide further. So, vegetative cell will not divide further. Okay. So, this is the difference between vegetative cell and the generative cell. And when vegetative cell, one vegetative cell and one generative cell is there, we call it as a two-celled pollen grain. So, that's what I told. A matured pollen grain is two-celled, one vegetative cell and one generative cell. And we told in 60% of plants, pollen grains are shed out. Pollen grains are shed out in the two-celled stage only. You can see here the pollen grains are shed out in the two-celled stage only, right? So, whereas in remaining plants, means the remaining 40%, in remaining plants, the generative cell will split into two male gametes. Then it will become three-celled pollen grain, 1, 2 and 3. So, in the remaining plants, the generative cell divides to form two male gametes. In the remaining 40% of the plants, the generative cell will divide to make two male gametes before it sheds off. Before it comes off, this generative cell will make two male gametes. Then that is called, this is called three-celled pollen grain. This is called three-celled pollen grain. So, in 40% plants, children, three-celled pollen grain will come out. In 60% plants, two-celled pollen grain with one vegetative cell and one generative cell comes out. Did you understand? This is what is development of male gametophyte. So, we have seen a male gametophyte having one cell. This is called one-celled male gametophyte or pollen grain. We have also seen the matured pollen grain male gametophyte which is having two cells. One big cell is called as tube cell. One small cell is called as generative cell. This is one-cell pollen grain. This is two-celled pollen grain, and we have also seen the three-celled pollen grain in which the tube cell is there like that, but the generative cell has divided into two male gametes. Take a screenshot. Right. So, now let us talk about some facts of the pollen grain now. Then we will talk about pollen nutrition, pollen allergy, pollen viability also. So, you understood the development of male gametophyte? How did one-cell pollen grain become two-celled pollen grain, and in which cell stage it's coming? For that I kept this diagram. So, usually the pollen grains are shed out from the anther wall in two-celled stage. You can see here each one is having two nuclei. They are male nuclei, male gametes they are. Now, let us talk about some facts of pollen grains. So, if you have seen Calotropis plant, in Calotropis, all the pollen grains which are produced from one anther lobe will stick together to make a mass called pollinia. In Calotropis, all pollen grains of one lobe, they stick together. They stick together to form, we call it as pollinia. So if we see, it will be in this manner. This is one lobe, all the pollen grains are stick to make one pollinia, and this is the stalk which is called codicil. And then here we have the disc-like structure where the stigma will come. This is the disc and this is the stalk codicil. This is one anther lobe, another anther lobe, and all these what you are seeing are pollen grains. All the pollen grains are attached together to make a bundle. This bundle is called as pollinia. Similarly here also. What is this called? Pollinia. What is this called? This is called codicil. So it sticks on the insect body and it grows. So this is one type of pollen grain. Whereas in some other plants, if you see, pollen grains actually from one spore mother cell, 4 microspores will come. They stick together to make a pollen tetrad. And when the callose layer dissolves, now the tetrad dissociates and each one pollen grain comes out. But in some plants, the 4 microspores stick together. They permanently remain as a tetrad only. Then that is called compound pollen. So what do you mean by compound pollen? Did you understand? What do you mean by compound pollen? Usually from one pollen mother cell, 4 pollen grains will be made, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these 4 pollen grains will dissociate and they'll become single pollen grains. But whereas in some plants, like for example, if you go with Typha, Drimys, Drosera. In some plants like Typha, Drimys and Drosera, the pollen tetrad remain permanently. They remain permanently. They will not get separated. Now what is that called? It is called compound pollen. Where do we find it? Compound pollen is found in Typha, Drimys and Drosera. Now there is another fact. In Mimosa family, touch me not family, right? In Mimosa family, what happens means these pollen grains, like how many one compound pollen it is, another compound pollen, another compound pollen, another compound pollen, another compound pollen, another compound pollen. So 6 to 8 we can take. I took 6 here. 6 tetrads I took. So 6 to 8. Compound pollens. In Mimosa family, 6 to 8 compound pollens are attached together like a mass. They are attached together like a mass. This is called massule. It is called massule. So usually one pollen grain will come out. One microspore will come out and it develops into pollen grain or male gametophyte. Here we are telling like all the pollens in one lobe are sticking together to make a sac-like structure called pollinia. Where do you find it? In Calotropis. In other plant, if you see, now the pollen tetrad will not detach. The microspore tetrad will not detach. It will be permanent together like that. That's called compound pollen. In Mimosa family, so many tetrads are joined together to make a structure called massule. And in some insect pollinated flowers, in insect pollinated flowers, if you see a pollen grain, this pollen grain has a oily coating around it. The pollen grains have a oily coating, carotenoid coating around it. Now this oily coating is called as pollen kit. With the help of this pollen kit, the pollen grain can stick. to insect body. And this carotenoid substances, oily substances which are around, protect the pollen grains from harmful UV radiations also. So in some insect pollinated flowers, these are the pollen grains, right? So this 2-cell pollen grain you take and go. These pollen grains are covered by a sticky oily coat. Sticky oily coat. Understood? So this is another case. Now these are some variations. These are some variations about pollen grains. And if we have to remember what is the smallest pollen, since we are talking about pollen, what is the largest pollen, what is the longest pollen. So if we have to tell, smallest pollen is called myosotis, whereas largest pollen is mirabilis. And the longest pollen is Zoostera, seagrass, right? Come on, tell me once again. The smallest pollen is myosotis. The largest pollen is mirabilis. And the longest pollen is Zoostera. So some facts we discussed here in this board about pollen grain. We told in some plants the pollen grains stick together. Of that anther lobe, they stick together to make a pollen mass called pollinia. In some, the microspores will not dissociate, they make compound pollens. In some, these compound pollens, many compound pollens join together to make a massule found in mimosa. Now, in insect pollinated flowers, the pollen grain is having a sticky oily coating around it, so which prevents the pollen grains from UV radiations, which helps the pollen grain to stick to the insect. And the smallest pollen grain is with the plant Myosotis. The largest pollen grain is with the Mirabilis plant. The longest pollen grain is with the Zoostera. Take a screenshot fast. Now, let us talk about pollen allergy. Now, there are some plants which release pollen grains, and those pollen grains are allergic not in all people, in sensitized people. And there the pollen grains act as aeroallergens. They cause asthma, bronchitis and all. So that comes under pollen allergy. Let's talk about pollen allergy. So not all plants, children, some plant pollen grains, like if we have to list down the examples of the pollens which cause allergy, means Parthenium, which is a carrot grass, is one example. Cynopodium is another example. Amaranthus is another example. So we can take the examples like some plant pollen grains like Amaranthus, Cynopodium and Parthenium. Parthenium is called as carrot grass. Now, actually, Parthenium hysterecta is not an Indian species. Now, it came to India along with the imported wheat. It came to India along with the imported wheat, and anything, if it comes, anything which is a foreign one, it spreads invasively. Now, it became a ubiquitous weed. It's seen everywhere, right? So, but it came along with the imported wheat. So, Parthenium pollen grains are allergic to most of the people. Next one, we are telling Cynopodium pollen grains are also allergic. Amaranthus, for some people, even sorghum pollen grains are allergic. Grass pollen grains are allergic. So now, what do they cause? They cause pollen allergy. Pollen allergy is also called hay fever. Pollen allergy is also called hay fever. They will be released into the air and act as aeroallergens. They are released into the air and they act as aeroallergens. So people who are having pollen allergy, usually pollination will happen in the early morning. So they are not supposed to go for morning walk, because in that air pollen grains will be numerous. So afterwards what happens? It settles down. So it will not cause that much problem. It causes pollen allergy. Pollen allergy is called hay fever. It causes chronic respiratory disorders like asthma and bronchitis. This pollen allergy, it causes chronic respiratory disorders. What are the chronic respiratory disorders? Means like we can go asthma, And next one is bronchitis. Inflammation of the bronchi and bronchioles is called as bronchitis, which leads to asthma, difficulty in breathing. So this is about pollen allergy. Now the other way, if you see, pollen grains are rich in nutrients, right? So the other angle of it is pollen grains are rich in nutrients. We know that. They have abundant reserve food material. They are rich in nutrients, and it became fashionable now in Western countries to use pollen grains as food supplements. So in Western countries, pollen grains are used as, how are they used as? Food supplements. Instead of taking food, they take pollen tablets, they take pollen syrups. So the pollen grains, they consume it in the form of pollen grain tablets and pollen syrups. So it became fashionable in Western countries to consume pollen grains. Now these pollen grains are available in the form of tablets and syrups. Now if athletes consume pollen grain, or race horses, if they consume pollen grain, it increases their performance. So consumption of pollen grains by athletes and race horses, it increases performance. So means correct then. Pollen grains are rich in nutrients, they increase the performance. So this is about pollen grain as nutrient, and this is a allergy caused by pollen grains. Coming to pollen viability, lifespan of pollen. Pollen grain is gametophyte. It is male gametophyte. When compared to the sporophyte, the lifespan of pollen grain, male gametophyte, is short only. I am comparing this to the plant lifespan. Pollen viability. What is pollen grain, children? It is male gametophyte. It is male gametophyte. So we can tell that the pollen grain viability is short only when in comparison to sporophyte. Viability is short in comparison to the sporophyte plant body. Now, if you see some plants like grasses, cereals and wheat, if you go with in cereals like rice and wheat, the viability of pollen grain, they are alive only for 30 minutes after they are released from the anther. The viability is 30 minutes. Whereas if you go with some other families like Leguminaceae, Solanaceae, right, Rosaceae. In some other families like Rosaceae, Leguminaceae, Solanaceae, the pollen grain is viable for months together. The pollen is viable for months together. In some plants, the pollen is viable only for 30 minutes. Means within 30 minutes, it should come from the anther to the stigma. At 31st minute, if it comes, it is dead then. So whereas if you go with Rosaceae, Solanaceae, Leguminaceae, the viability of pollen grain is years together. So but not an issue. We have a technique to store the pollen grain in viable stage for years together. What is that technique called? Cryopreservation. So where shall I write it? So can I use this line? So there is a technique called lyophilization. This is a technique called lyophilization, which is also called cryopreservation. Lyophilization or cryopreservation. What is this? It is a technique of storing any sample like pollen grain in liquid nitrogen at minus 197 degrees centigrade. It is a technique of preservation. It's a technique of preservation where we store pollen grains in liquid nitrogen at minus 197 degrees centigrade. Then we tell that the pollens are viable for years together. Nothing will happen. The pollens are viable for years together. So if you go to some other country, from that country, if you want to bring the pollen grains, that too in viable stage, it will take days together for you. Then we can use this technique, lyophilization, vials we can bring. So this lyophilization technique helps for the crop breeders for artificial hybridization, crop breeding to develop improved varieties. They can go with these things. So we can store the pollen grains in pollen banks. We can use it in crop breeding programs, right? We can use it in crop breeding programs. Children, all this is about pollen grain only. Now I think it's very much clear for you. Pollen grain, the male gametophyte, what is one cell stage, what is two cell stage, what is three cell stage, what is the outer wall made of, what is the inner wall made of, study of pollen grains. What is it called? Palynology. Now, pollen tetrad, microspore tetrad. So they disperse, callose layer dissolves. So what are the two cells? Vegetative cell and generative cell. What is compound pollen? Everything we discussed. Pollen allergy we discussed. Pollen viability we discussed. And next one, pollen viability, pollen allergy and pollen consumption as food supplements. So all this is about pollen grain. In the next lecture, we'll talk about the female part, female reproductive organ. What's the female reproductive organ? Gynoecium. Hope the lecture is informative. If you like the content, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.